Bonjour classe, bienvenue. Aujourd'hui, c'est le 22 avril 2020. So today is the 22nd of April 2020. Aujourd'hui, on va apprendre la famille de mettre. Et le verbe mettre, ça c'est un verbe. Mettre is a verb. So when I say la famille de mettre, I mean the family of mettre. So verbs that conjugate similarly to mettre. So today we're going to go through and learn how to conjugate mettre and all the verbs that conjugate like it. First things first, c'est à la page 230. It's on page 230 in the book if you'd like to look there. If not, everything that I go through in the video will be on that same page, plus more, so you don't have to look on that page if you don't like to. So, la famille de mettre. First off, let's talk about the verb mettre. So the verb mettre means to put. Okay, so the verb mettre means to put, like I'm going to put the pen down, and I'm going to put on my pajamas, or I'm going to put on my socks, etc., etc. So with the verb mettre, it is an irregular verb, which means it doesn't conjugate like regular RE verbs that we've learned. So we're going to go through and just conjugate mettre to begin with. So let's just conjugate mettre, and I'm going to draw my little table off to the side here, and then on this side we're going to do some activities. So with mettre, let's go through and conjugate it first. So for je, we're going to put M-E-T-S. And for tu, we're going to put M-E-T-S. For il, elle, on va mettre M-E-T. We're going to put M-E-T. For new is M-E-T-T-O-N-S. Et pour vous, M-E-T-T-E-Z. Et pour il and elle, M-E-T-T-E-N-T. So I'm going to change my Z real quick right here so it looks a little bit nicer. So with mettre, you can kind of pick out a pattern. The ones on the right-hand side here, I'll conjugate like regular RE verbs, where you just take off the RE and you add your new endings. But the ones on the left conjugate a little bit differently. So they take off a T and then they add SS nothing. So make sure that you drop the one T there. All right, so let's do a couple examples with mettre. So premier exemple, let's conjugate and say, I put the book in my backpack. So let's do je, then je mets, I put le livre, the book, in my sac. We could say sac à dos if we wanted to, but I'm just going to abbreviate it sac. So I put the book in my bag. Okay, et de, let's say that we put on a hat. So nous, then conjugate your verb, mettons, and we need a hat. So review that vocab, we have un chapeau. Okay, and so that's how you conjugate mettre. Now let's get into the family part of it and conjugate all the different verbs that conjugate just like mettre. So the first verb that we'll talk about is going to be promettre. So promettre, and this just means to promise. Like, I promise this lesson is pretty easy. So with verbs like mettre, you'll notice that mettre is in that one verb that we're talking about. So we already know how to conjugate mettre. Now we just need to conjugate promettre. So let's draw our little table again. And we're going to go through and conjugate the same way, except we're going to add pro in front of everything. So it'd be promet, promet, promet. And then we have promettons, promettez, and promette. All right, so the only difference is that I added pro to the front of this verb. Let's talk about another one. Let's do the verb admettre. I'll give you a second to think about what you think admettre means. So admettre means to admit. Like, I admit that I really love French class. So let's go through and conjugate admettre. I'm going to conjugate it over here so we have enough room. So the same way that we would conjugate mettre is the same way that we're going to conjugate admettre, but we're just going to add our beginning into it. So we're going to add ad and then conjugate mettre. Admet, admet, admet. And we have admettons. I'm running out of space. Admettez. And admet. Okay? And with admettre, it conjugates the same way as promettre and mettre, just the only difference is that you have this in front of it. Okay, last verb, so last one in the family of mettre. In the family of mettre, we also have the last verb that I think is kind of my favorite. We have permettre. So permettre, now I'll give you a second to think about what do you think permettre means. Permettre means to permit. So I use permettre a lot, and I'm sure you guys will too eventually when you're using it in French. So let's conjugate permettre. And the only difference is that now we have the PER in front. So we have permettre in front. So let's do P-E-R-M-E-T-S, permet. And we have permet and permet. That's an M, I promise. And then on the right-hand side, we have permettons, permettez, and permettre. All right, so let's do, in this little last space that we have right here, let's do an example together. So let's do one of each three of these verbs. So we'll do 1, 2, and 3. We'll have to make our sentences short because I'm running out of whiteboard space. So let's do he promises. So let's do he promises. It's il, and then conjugate your verb. So we need promettre, and we're going to use pro in front of it. So pro, conjugate the verb, mais. So il promet, he promises. Point. Period. All done. Numéro 2, admettre. Let's do I admit. So, oh yes, I admit, I love French class. So we have je, and because admettre starts with a vowel, we need to take away the E. So je apostrophe, and then conjugate your verb like you normally would. So admet, and point. We're done. Now, troisième, third one, let's say we permit, like we permit it. It's kind of like allow, like, oh, I'll allow it. So let's do nous, and then we need to conjugate our verb, permettons. Nous permettons. Point. And then we're done. So I hope that this video was a little bit helpful as far as learning La Famille de Mettre. Make sure that you check out the rest of the PowerPoint because there are worksheets that go along with it and that you'll have to turn in on Google Classroom. So make sure you check it out. C'est tout pour aujourd'hui. That's all for today. Si vous avez des questions, if you have questions, envoyez-moi un email. Send me an email. Oui, et à plus.